Hello, welcome to News Centre. The Monsoon Session of Parliament has been adjourned sine die. It was a stormy session with opposition parties protesting the water roll revision in Bihar inside and outside Parliament. In the 21-day session, the Lok Sabha barely functioned for 37 hours. The Rajya Sabha functioned for little more than 41 hours. As per PRS legislative research, 50% of functioning time of the Lok Sabha was spent on discussing Operation Sindoor. The productivity of the Lok Sabha was at 31%, Rajya Sabha at 33%, as Parliament saw repeated disruptions, adjournments and walkouts. Opposition parties continued to protest today. Home Minister Amit Shah introduced a legislation yesterday to remove any minister from office if the person has been detained for more than 30 days on serious charges without a conviction. Opposition parties called the bill yet another attempt to target them. A total of 15 legislations were passed by both houses of Parliament without much of a discussion or debate. This includes the bill banning online money games. The legislation was introduced yesterday and passed by both houses. The Lok Sabha discussed the bill yesterday for just 7 minutes. No discussion was held in the Rajya Sabha before the bill was passed through a voice vote. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Rijiju termed the monsoon session as fruitful and slammed the opposition as undemocratic. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla expressed regret at the House functioning for just 37 hours and asked the MPs to seriously introspect.
लगातार गतिरोध और नियोजित व्यवधान के कारण हम केवल 37 घंटे ही चर्चा कर पाए। पिछले कुछ दिनों से मैं देख रहा हूं कि सदन में सार्थक मर्यादा परंपराओं के अनुरूप चर्चा नहीं हो रही।
देश के लिए और सरकार की दृष्टि से बहुत ही फ्रूटफुल सेशन रहा है। ये मॉनसून सत्र बहुत उपयोगी सत्र रहा है। विरोध करना लोकतांत्रिक है। टू प्रोटेस्ट एंड टू डिसएग्री is a democratic means of putting across your viewpoint. But to obstruct or to prevent the government and parliament from functioning, that tactics is anti-democratic.
Very disappointing that this session has been a washout. All we wanted was a discussion on SIR. The government could have easily had the discussion and given us the space to raise our concerns and then gone about the business of the House. The government has the majority. It's really incumbent upon the government to create the atmosphere to run the House. And I personally feel very disappointed that this session has been very unproductive.
Joining us now are PDT Acharya, former Secretary of the Lok Sabha, and Aman Lekhi, Senior Advocate at the Supreme Court. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Mr. Acharya, let me begin by asking you, how difficult would it be for the government to get this bill through Parliament and turn it into law? Currently, this has gone to a JPC.
I don't think the government will be able to pass this bill because of the number, because it requires a number. There are two things. One is the majority of the total membership of the House and 2/3 of the members present and voting. Now, I will do a little arithmetic here. You know, the total number of members of Lok Sabha is 543. And suppose all the 540 members or 543 members are present in the House when the voting takes place. That means 2/3 of the members present and voting means around 366 members. So the bill would require, in that case, 366 members support. At present, the ruling party and the ruling party alliance has around 292 members or something. So where do they get the remaining number from? Unless the opposition parties try to support this legislative proposal, there's no way the government can pass this bill in the Lok Sabha. So that is a simple reality. So far as that question is concerned, my firm answer is that it is not possible for this government to get the bill passed in the Lok Sabha.
Right. That indeed is an important point. And Aman Lekhi, that brings us to the next question. If the government cannot get this bill passed through the Lok Sabha because it needs 2/3 majority and it would need the support of the Congress party if it really had to do so in reality, then what would be the intent of bringing such a law to Parliament at this time?
Well, Parikshit, I think this particular bill ridicules reason, is a caricature of what a law should be, and is an affront to common sense. At every level, doctrinal or normative, it is lacking. And if you see this bill, the immaturity behind it is astonishing. It's as if someone is playing with crayons. That's not the way in which legislation, leave alone constitutional amendments, should come. Now, there are many things wrong with the way in which this has been brought about. And the central aspect of it is that it is premised upon arrest simpliciter, in the sense that on arrest, a person is to be removed, and on release, the person may come back, ignoring principles not only of constitutional law, which I'll come to later, but elementary
All right, we seem to be losing that link with Aman Lekhi, senior advocate. Let me go back to PDT Acharya at this point. Mr. Acharya, when it comes to laws governing elected members of Parliament, elected members of the Assembly, the Prime Minister, the Chief Ministers, we already have a lot of safeguards in place. Is this bill in line with the constitutional provisions existing already? Do you feel that such a law is actually the need of the hour in any way?
In my view, it is not the need of the hour. I don't know why this bill has been brought, and that too in such a hurry at the last minute, without any consultation with anyone. And it was brought in under short notice, because normally, under the House rules, a bill is required to be circulated 2 days before the introduction, and the minister has to seek the permission of the speaker about 7 days before the date of introduction. All these things are there. So the speaker can waive these requirements. But such an important, and that too a constitution amendment bill, being brought in this way, it's based my understanding. I do not know why it has been done like this. And secondly,
right.
Shall I continue? Or?
Do you feel, Mr. Acharya, that it's probably to send out a message to the opposition that if you do not support this bill, which they of course will not, then you're seen as someone who is resisting all policies which are anti-corruption, which are meant to fight corruption in the country? This is a move to corner the opposition. Do you believe so?
I don't think so, because people have seen corruption, and Indian society, is not very shocked when you tell them about corruption. So they somehow, there is some kind of they have got resigned to the situation where politicians resort to corruption and so on. So corruption is not such a shocking thing or new thing for the Indian people. So I don't think this is going to change their or divert their attention from today's issues, other burning issues. If the government's intention was to divert the attention of the people, that is not simply going to happen.
All right. So you're saying that it's possibly to divert the attention of the people. Aman Lekhi, what do you think is the intent of the government? If the numbers are not there, is it a political move ahead of elections? Is it to embarrass the opposition?
This is a populist measure. It's empty rhetoric. This is simply a dose to, in fact, keep the public consciousness satisfied that something meaningful is happening without there being any real change or real intent to bring about change. Because the intent was there, the proposed bill would have been drafted better. As I pointed out, I don't know because the connection got lost. Structurally, this is wrong. Its schematic presentation in the entire constitution is incorrect. Whether it is the subject of criminal law, whether it's the subject of constitutional law, whether it's the principle of parliamentary governance, whether it's the principle of collective responsibility, all have been breached. In fact, the amendments that have been made are partial and incomplete because provisions of the Constitution which ought to have been amended along with these provisions have not even been touched. And it just seems that whoever is drafting it is doing it in a very childish, immature, amateurish way, which does not in any way behove amendment to a constitution. And it is something which is unbecoming of any government, which is seriously concerned with issues as important as this bill purports to touch.
Right. Another question that I'd like to ask you, Aman Lekhi, if such a law were to become reality, would it have stood the test of judicial scrutiny? Because, you know, the very essence of the Constitution and the legal system, especially the criminal justice system, is innocent until proven guilty. Here you are expecting and trying to turn into law that anyone who is arrested for an offence whereby the punishment in jail is up to 5 years and you are in jail for 30 days or more, you have to resign. Would this be going against set judicial laws and procedures, and would it have actually stood the test of judicial scrutiny?
Absolutely not. This is facially wrong. One, as I said earlier, arrest is a procedural step. Arrest does not in any way show substantive liability. Substantive liability follows conviction, and conviction warrants trial. As far as this amendment is concerned, the amendment has got nothing to do with that particular process. And if you will notice, whether it is the Representation of People's Act or the disqualifications there in the Parliament, none of which has been amended or touched. What is actually emphasized is conviction, because whatever follows, the disqualification should follow conviction. So whoever thinks that arrest is the basis for removal is actually completely oblivious to the legal reality, forget the practical reality of operation of this particular thing, number one. Number two, as I said, very simplistic, if you are arrested, you have to demit. And if you are released from the custody, you can come back. But the point is, if you are saying this constitutional morality has to be maintained, notwithstanding you are having been released, which is obviously for bail, the case pends. If the case pends, the person against whom there is a criminal prosecution continues. Now, the person against whom criminal prosecution continues, merely because he is outside, doesn't necessarily mean he is entitled according to the terms of this particular statute. So what they want to do, I really don't know whether it is actually so. Number three, as I just said, the question here is the pleasure of the president is the basis of both 75 and 164. Here you bring in prosecuting agencies to interfere with the composition of the Council of Ministers, which is without a precedent anywhere. I mean, this is not something which I have in any way seen or should be in any way permitted. Number four, you equate the minister with the chief minister and the prime minister. You cannot, because qualitatively the roles are different. And if the prime minister, chief minister goes, the council of ministers collapses because it's a collective responsibility, something which is completely untouched by this particular law. On every count, even right. On every count, I feel this is lacking, and there are not one, but many grounds on which it can be challenged.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Aman Lekhi and Mr. PDT Acharya for joining us on the program. We're taking a short break, but don't go anywhere. We get you an interview with DPAM Secretary Arunish Chawla on the government's divestment roadmap on the other side.